Hey guys, there are two house types that we constantly remind our clients that if they begin searching for those types, that they need to let us know because there's some extra work that needs to be done and extra cost too that comes into play. And those house types are condos or manufactured houses. So a lot of times when people call me, they never bring up those types because it's never really in their thought process. But then when they start seeing the price points, then they start maybe looking at different other purchase types. And so I just want to remind you guys, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I want to remind you guys that it's important to let us know before you even write a contract if the customer's looking for a condo or a manufactured house. Now with condos, you guys know that there's so many checks that have to happen with the HOAs, and there's actually a check that we could do before you guys even go see the house. So if you want to let us know before then, we can check it and make sure that it's okay. But then even after, when y'all make the offer, there's more checks to be done and it costs money. Now that cost also has to be negotiated, whether it's going to be the seller paying for it or the buyer paying for it. 99% of the time, the buyer ends up paying for it. So we want to prepare them for that cost before they get into contract, right? But in addition, I do feel, and this is just a side note, some of you may not agree with me, but I do feel like it would not be the worst thing in the world for the seller to pay for it. Because whatever comes out on that report, it's potential that the buyer may have just paid $400 or $500 for these reports, and then what's on the report, they can't even get their mortgage. And so, but the seller could keep the report and use it for their next buyer, right? So that's my 2 cents, but I know that's not typically how it happens. Also, as a listing agent, you could start checking into these things to make sure that it meets financing requirements. But condos, so just make sure that you are visiting with the lender when it comes to a condo. Secondly, manufactured houses. Now, there's a whole other set of things that have to be done with manufactured houses. There's different documentation that we got to make sure that we have for the manufactured house, from the copies of the pictures of the plates to HUD certifications that may be in the manufactured house. There's several documentations, pieces of documentation. And there has to be the foundation report that tells us if the property has to be retrofitted or not. And all of these things cost money. The retrofitting cost is the most expensive piece of it if the property has to be retrofitted. So we got to see, how is this going to be negotiated out? And so all of this to say, if it's a condo or a manufactured house, make sure we're talking about it to lay everything out. I know we want every property to be slam bam, thank you ma'am, so easy. But it's just, you guys know it's not always like that. And we just want to make sure that we're covering these things up front versus waiting till 2 weeks before closing to start talking about it after the customer's already been in the contract for however long. We want to make sure we're covering it up front. I hope that information helps. If you don't remember anything else, condos and manufactured houses, just remember, Jennifer said I need to check with her on something. And remember too, townhomes don't have to be in any of that documentation stuff like condos do, which is pretty bizarre because some people can't even say the difference between a townhome and a condo. But if it's classified as a townhome, we don't have to worry about a thing, which is really cool. All right, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving holiday, and holler at me if you need me. I will be in town, so if you've got an emergency, pre-qualification, somebody's out searching, just let me know. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.